Hello everybody, Camelia here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new sewing pattern review. Today I have another dress. Well, the last review was a blouse. So today I have a dress for you. I'm a little bit sick, so I hope I can talk my way through the end. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Viola dress from Sew Over It, their PDF pattern release for September. And I really wanted to make the review because it's a really cool dress. It has a lot of nice details, and this one together with the Nora dress, the release before this one, I think they are one of my most favorite dresses of this year because I can wear them really easy with sneakers. They are both really really easy to wear dresses. I really like that about them, and of course I think it's a big plus. It's also the fabric that I used in the Nora dress. You see it here in the pictures. I used that Minerva Chalet fabric with black and white, and this one is also kind of pretty easy to wear, you know, during the day. So I really wanted to make this video because there are some really cool details in this dress, and although there are quite a few details, it's a really easy pattern to make. So the Nora dress, it has, I hope you can see it here, it has a really nice color. It has bodice with a yoke in the back. With the yoke in the back, of course it's really difficult to see in my fabric, but the yoke has an extended, the yoke is coming to the front, so the shoulder point on the yoke is not the, it has a notch here which is showing the real shoulder point, and then you have gathers going from the shoulder and also gathers going from the up from the waist band. There is a really wide waistband, and of course then you have the skirt with some gathers here in the front. They should correspond a little bit with the gathers in the bodice, and it's kind of a midi length, as you can see it also in the pictures on me. And well, it's not sitting really straight here, but the back of course is the star of this dress, as you have the yoke here and you have the waistband which is coming from the side, and then the center panel of the waistband is sheared with the sheer elastic, and then you have of course the bodice and the skirt that they are also getting gathered into this piece, and I'll come back in a moment to this. For the sleeves there are two options. There is a shorter one without a band, and this one that is getting gathered here and you get a cuff. I will say that it would have been really nice if we got, but it's not a really hard thing to do, to make the sleeve actually longer, to make the dress a little bit wearing more to the colder times. I made my dress in the really, I did not make a test garment, but I made my standard size 12 with normally I would take it in the waist to a size 10, but because I knew that there is that sheared panel in the back, which I will talk in a minute about it, because that's also helping a little bit with the shaping, I just went with a size 12. The only adjustment that I made, let's see, I can see here, it was to make a sway back adjustment. Did I make that? Yes, I can see it here. I took 1 centimeter from this is the lower back panel, and I did that because I did not want to have here in the back, maybe you can see here in the back, if I did not take that centimeter, 1.5, I think a half inch, a little bit more than 1 centimeter. If this was too long, instead of getting this nice gathers here, then I would have also a little bit more of a blousing, and that would have not been really really nice. So again, a standard change for me, the sway back adjustment. Normally I'll also make a narrow shoulder adjustment to take a little bit off from the shoulder length, but because this is a style with a drop shoulder, I was thinking, well, it's not necessary, and it's really not necessary. So because I know my size in Sew Over It, and if you are sewing with Sew Over It, this will be actually you know, there were no surprising there. It's not too tight, it's really perfect. The dress has also pockets, but I skipped the pockets, although I did cut them. And the requirements for size 12, it was they were 3m20, and I had this piece which was only 3 meters, and I must say that the requirements are really on top, really accurate, because I had just my piece was just too small to get everything out of it, so that's why I had to cut the inside of the band, and also I'll show you the inside of the yoke. I had to cut them from another fabric, similar type, but another print, because I did not have enough. So changes, that was the only change to, or it was only one change, to make a narrow shoulder adjustment, and for the rest is as per pattern, no changes. Again, I skipped the pockets because I don't really use them, you know. It's the idea of having pockets in the dress, and maybe use them while I'm taking the pictures to share on social media. But for the rest, I don't really use pockets in dresses, so I just skip them. I was thinking about fabric, you know, when I got the first mail with the dress, I was thinking to what I have in my stash, and I really want to make one in one of the viscose linens that I have in a solid color, maybe a navy one. I think it will look really nice, because then you can see all the details. And I've seen one made in I think it's a kind of denim or something like that. One of the pattern testers, pattern insiders made it, and of course there you can really see all the details, and also some nice top stitching. Of course there are buttons all the way down. And the collar piece, here the collar piece is of course cut separate. This one is cut on the bias, and that's making it fold really nicely. I did order this fabric. This is a navy one. It's really very pretty. Actually, it's a bit lighter than what you see in the video. It's very nice. But while I was waiting for this one is a viscose coming from Drissen. I found this one in my stash, and I'm almost sure that it's also from Drissen, but they don't have it anymore. I think it's different from my stash. I'm not sure, but I think it's also from Drissen. So when I found this one, I was thinking, well, this is kind of perfect, because I really love leaves on a black background. So this one was the chosen one, and I will use this one for something else. Sewing wise, it's actually pretty easy to make, although there are all these little bits here that you need to gather. And I was thinking, because after I did not take really good care about how these splits they are falling. I love the dress, I love the final dress, it's really nice, and I wore it already a bunch of times. If I was to make this one again, and I'm going to make it again, I will put, you see here, there are a little bit of gathers here at the waistband and a bit of gathers here up. I will put like a in between, in the middle of these areas, another notch. In this case, like, let's say here in the waistband, and also on the piece that is getting gathered into it, because like that I really know that my gathers are going to be kind of going in one line with each other, because here in the back I have the feeling that that's not the case, that I get that they are just a little bit going to the side, and that's because I did not have that center of the sheared panel and center of the back really good marked, and based on that to gather everything. But you know, you cannot really see, but that's something that I'll take care for the next time. Something else, the waistband pieces, they are not interfaced, and I don't really miss that. I really like the softness of the waistband, otherwise it will always be just a little bit stiffer than the rest of the dress. But I think but I totally forgot that I will get here, of course, the buttonholes and the buttons, and it's always good, even if the rest of the thing is not interfaced, to add just a little bit of interfacing, at least here in this area. I did not really notice that, because when I made the buttonholes, because I used again that trick that I was talking about in my previous video about adding water-soluble stabilizer on top of the fabric when sewing the buttonholes. And I am using this one. This was really cheap. I cannot remember exactly how much, but this one is from Amazon. I bought it. I will try to find a link to it. It's embroidery stabilizer, water-soluble embroidery film, and I always cut. Well, I bought it. I bought this roll. I think is how much? Around 10 meters. I bought it actually for the embroidery machine, but I always cut just a little bit, and as you can see, after sewing the buttonhole, you can rip it off, and I'm just moving this around, you know, in another place to sew the buttonhole. And that's why when I made the buttonholes in the dress, in this area where there is no interfacing, I did not really notice that there was no interfacing. Otherwise you'll get all kind of crazy, now depending on your machine, but most of the time if you have no support there and you have only two layers of really soft fabric like this one, you get a mess. But next time in the next dress I will put some interfacing here in this area for sure. I'll put a link to this from Amazon. I have no affiliation with this company, but this stuff is working really well also for embroidery. I have also some embroidery thread from them, which is kind of nice and not so expensive. I'm just going to take this off. That's why I'm not wearing it, because I wanted to show you what I did to solve my fabric shortage problem. And I want to show you also the inside of the band. So as you can see here, I used something else for the yoke, but you really cannot see it because it's on the inside, and I think it's really quite okay. And the same I used here for the inside of the waistband, the same another fabric, because I had to make some decisions as I did not have enough fabric. But I was thinking, well, it's really important to have the facing of the skirt in the same fabric, because if when I'm walking and the skirt is not completely buttoned all the way down to the hem, you'll see a little bit of the facing. So it was important to get the facing from the same fabric. And I will say that this was also kind of important to make it in the same fabric, but I really did not have enough, so I had to cut it like this, but you really cannot see it. And of course when sewing the band and then turn it to the inside, just favor the outer fabric a millimeter to the inside, and then everything is going well. What I wanted to show you about the waistband, I'm just going to turn this inside out. Let's see the instructions, and if you want to make this dress, do read the instructions, because they are made in such a way to get a really nice finish on the inside of the dress. And even the bottom part of the waistband here is getting let's see, stitched by hand, you know, to finish the inside. But of course I was way too lazy to do that, and I just top stitched it. And here you can see the sheared panel. You can see it here, and the idea of this is you sew actually the waistband to the bodice. You sew it in a few steps, as you need to leave this part where the sheared panel is getting attached to the bodice. You need to leave it free, and then after you sew the left and the right part of the dress, so this and this part, you stop exactly before the how should I say, here is a seam, of course, where this panel is getting attached to the back side pieces of the waistband, and then later you come and you stitch this. And the thing is that by doing that you have the possibility to give just a little bit of ease into that back piece that is getting stitched here. Of course I did not do a lot because I knew that I don't need that. And of course in the skirt the same, you have the possibility to stitch the skirt to gather it in that sheared panel, and like that you get quite a bit of extra ease because of that sheared panel. So if you were to put it to size, then it will be more rigid. And if you, of course, if you don't need that extra room, you can just stitch it in one time. But I found that following the instructions step by step is really important, because otherwise you'll get yourself in a bit of a mess. Let me put this one back. About shearing, I think it was, if I'm not completely sure, but I think it was the first time shearing with my new machine, and that went really well. But I do have here on the channel, I have shearing tutorial that you can check, and I'm talking there about shearing with an electronic machine. I had at the time the 720 from Puff, or you can, I'm also showing how to do it with one of those older machines, but it was really not difficult. And I was thinking that I've seen a video somewhere on the internet where I think, and that's a great idea if your machine don't want to shear fabric with with a shearing elastic into the bobbin. What you can also do, you can use the shearing elastic on the fabric. You just, let's say that this is the fabric, you take a length of shearing elastic, put it straight onto the fabric, and then just zigzag over it, and just sew a few rows of that, and then pull it, and then that's going to be actually kind of the same thing, that you get that sheared panel. If your machine really don't want to shear fabric with the shearing elastic in the bobbin. But again, I'll put the link to my tutorial here on the channel. I'll put it in the description below. For the pockets, I've used this thing, which I have it already for many years. It used to be kind of expensive, now you can find it everywhere. The Seam Flex buttonhole gauge, whatever. Very useful. And I think that's everything about the Viola dress. Oh, Rosie did made it from Sover. It made it as a blouse, or as the blouse, because there is also a blouse where you finish this piece of the waistband here, so you don't use the skirt, of course. But something to keep in mind is that because you don't have the skirt that is pulling everything down, you might end up with the blouse just a little bit shorter than you want, so you should check that out. Maybe you need to lengthen the bodice a little bit. And there are lengthening and shortening lines on the pattern pieces. And that's it. I think that is everything about my Viola dress. I'm kind of happy with it, and because we have nice weather, I can get a little bit of wear out of it. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Check the video below or the link below for the shearing tutorial. And next video is going to be, I think, the Buddha magazine, and I do have some other cool dresses that I made. Also the one for Knip Mode magazine for this month, for October. So happy sewing, everybody, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!